welcome to Premier League Live on LFS for our second live commentary of the afternoon. After 6 3 o'clock kickoffs and our lunchtime game, it is Crystal Palace against Manchester United that concludes all the Premier League Saturday action on match day 5. Already this afternoon we've saw Chelsea beat West Ham 3-0 in a London derby at lunchtime. Aston Villa came from 1-0 down at home against Wolves to win 3-1. Wolves remain without a win to start the campaign and bottom of the table. Fulham also got their big win over Newcastle, who were unbeaten going into that game against the Cottagers, but Fulham came out 3-1 winners with 2 goals from Emile Smith-Rowe. Everton took the lead again for the third successive game and have failed to convert that to 3 points, with Leicester equalising late on to make it 1-1. Liverpool made easy work of Bournemouth after their shock home defeat of Nottingham Forest last weekend. They won by 3-0. Southampton and Ipswich. Well, Southampton were on course for their first win of the season before Ipswich's late equaliser, which means both remain without a win to start the campaign. And Tottenham came from behind at home against Brentford, who scored for the second consecutive week in the first minute of the game before Tottenham scored the 3 next goals to win by 3-1. But to tonight's game then, we'll show you what the table means very shortly. But this is the team news from Selhurst Park. Crystal Palace, Man United. Crystal Palace beat United 4-0 here last season. Man United have some revenge to grab, or can Crystal Palace make it 3 successive wins against United in the league? Dean Henderson starts in goal for Palace. Daniel Munoz, Maxence Lacroix, Mark Guehi the captain, Chris Richards and Tyrick Mitchell make up the back 5 for Palace. Adam Wharton and Daichi Kamada in midfield, with Ebere Eze, Edward Nketiah and Jean-Philippe Mateta are the attackers. For Manchester United, in their change strip this afternoon, they start with Andre Onana in goal. Nusir Mazraoui, Matthijs de Ligt, Lisandro Martinez and Diogo Dalot the back 4. Christian Eriksen joins Kobbie Mainoo in midfield with Bruno Fernandes through the middle. He captains the side. Amad Diallo off the right, Alejandro Garnacho off the left, and Joshua Zirkzee leads the line. Rashford only enough for the bench, and new signing Ugarte has also yet to make a Premier League start. Well, Manchester United in great form. Well, considering their last 2 games, they've won comfortably and by scoring 10 goals and without conceding. Have Manchester United turned the corner, or will Crystal Palace bring them back down to earth? Kick-off at Selhurst Park is next. Good afternoon and welcome to Premier League Live this evening for our final game of the day in the Premier League, game number 8 of the afternoon, which has been a fun-filled day of Premier League action. Only 1 away win this afternoon, which came at lunchtime. All the rest, 4 home wins and 2 draws from our 3 o'clock kickoffs this afternoon. All of the teams that have won this weekend have won by scoring 3 goals. Of course, and Liverpool and Chelsea, the only 2 sides so far to have kept a clean sheet, both winning by 3-0. Well, Manchester United, as I said, have had a wonderful week, considering away at Southampton last Saturday afternoon, winning by 3-0 against the team that hadn't picked up a single point to start the campaign last week. Well, they have now. And then a 7-0 thrashing of League One Barnsley in the Carabao Cup on Wednesday night. Will give them a lot of confidence heading into this one. Crystal Palace in their home strip of blue and red, with Manchester United in their away strip this afternoon of that white with black and red stripes throughout the kit. As we get underway here at Selhurst Park, as I mentioned in that opener, Manchester United thrashed here 4-0 last season by Crystal Palace. It was one of the games, kind of the scores of the season really. Michael Olise, who's now moved on from Crystal Palace, he scored 2, the first and the fourth goals. Jean-Philippe Mateta and Tyrick Mitchell, who both start this afternoon for Palace, got the other 2 goals on a night really to forget for Manchester United. It was the iconic night when Jamie Carragher says that Casemiro needs to leave football before the football leaves him, and you know, look at where Casemiro is now at this time, albeit on the bench this afternoon for Manchester United. I'm sure Erik ten Hag wasn't ready to go back there, anytime soon. As Mateta instantly threatens him behind, but De Ligt's deemed to have been fouled there by the referee, by Mateta. You just see it again, Mateta just gets round De Ligt. He kind of catches him in a sense. It's a foul, maybe a bit harsh, but I can see why the referee's given the free kick. And so Man United get the free kick early on then. And Matthijs de Ligt, of course, already opened his account at Manchester United. Scored his first goal against Southampton last weekend. As he just gets his boot fixed, something to do with his boot, which has him on the sidelines for the moment. So Man United are down to 10 for the moment. He's desperate to get back on as Onana takes this free kick. As he's waved back on by the referee now. Xerxes chests it down on the right hand side. Ahmad tries to beat past two, but Palace have lots of bodies in the way, and Chris Richards just puts it behind for a corner. Takes no risks there, the Palace centre back. 24-year-old American is Chris Richards. Joined Crystal Palace in July 2022 for £10 million from Bayern Munich. Here's Christian Eriksen for Manchester United to take this corner. On the right hand side. Right footed delivery. Fizz to the back post. De Ligt with a header, but straight into the hands of Dean Henderson, the Palace keeper. Of course, Dean Henderson's been on the move as of recent, as Palace try and break down the left with Munoz there, but the ball just evaded him. The 27-year-old Englishman, of course, was at Manchester United. Was, of course, on loan at Nottingham Forest for 2 seasons, or for 1 season, sorry. I was then at Manchester United for a while at the end of last season before joining Palace for £15 million last summer. And of course, made some big saves in that game against United last season. And that was the thing, that night was a shock to everyone, really. Man United came here and just collapsed. It was probably one of the worst displays of defending I've ever seen. As Kamara tries to keep the ball there, spins away from Fernandes. And the free kick's gone the way of Palace as Mitchell tries to hoof it in behind, but too much to try and get anywhere near Jean-Philippe Mateta. And Crystal Palace actually haven't had the best start to the season. One of the 6 sides still without a win. Of course, all the other 5 played at 3 o'clock this afternoon. And a few of them were actually in winning positions at a time. Southampton, Wolves and Everton all were winning at one point this afternoon, but all failed to convert those leads into 3 points, and ultimately 2 ended up drawing and 1 ended up losing from a winning position. So Palace have the chance to break away from that set of teams, but they keep themselves in and around that bottom half of the table as it stands, of course. Here is Martinez. Now De Ligt. Martinez back to Onana. Under Onana's been criticised for his goalkeeping errors at times this season, but has kept a clean sheet against Southampton last weekend in the Premier League. Which would be seen as an improvement from him. Of course, saved that penalty, of course, last week that Southampton had. It was at 0-0 that point in the game when Onana saved that penalty. Xerxes trying to apply pressure to Guehi there as he goes back to Henderson, who goes long for Palace. Down the left as Mitchell and Mazraoui, the 2 number 3s, went up to win the ball, and a throw-in will go Manchester United's way. Fernandez to Dallo. Through the middle, finds Kobe Mainu. Out wide on the right is Ahmad. Has to come back to Mazraoui. Now Dulicht. To Martinez. Of course, Manchester United really don't want to open this game up and make it that end-to-end game as they did last season, really, in this. And they certainly came out the worst of the two teams on that occasion because they couldn't finish at one end and Palace were just cutting them open time and time and time again at the other. It was one of the incredible end of the season from Crystal Palace. You know, an unbelievable end to the season last season. Unbeaten in the last 7 games. 6 wins out of 7 in their final 7 games at the end of last season. Only dropped points away to Fulham in that run. Included a 5-0 thrashing of Villa, 4-0 defeat of Manchester United, 5-2 demolition of West Ham, a win away at Anfield against Liverpool. So some huge results under Oliver Glasner at the end of last season. They had an impeccable pre-season, 3 wins and 2 draws in their 5 pre-season games. So the shocks to start to lose back-to-back London derbies at the start of the season was a real hammer blow to the start of the campaign for Palace, but they've been unbeaten since then. 2 cup wins and 2 draws in the league away at Chelsea and at home to Leicester. Sees them probably improving in their performances and their results, which could overall help them here this afternoon. And of course we knew it was never going to last, that honeymoon period of that incredible run that Oliver Glasner had in his first 7 games, but you expected Crystal Palace to be threatening a lot more. I mean, I have them predicted in the top 10 this year because of the quality they have. And, you know, the likes of Mark Gurr, he didn't leave the club. They've still got the likes of Eza, who's a massive asset to Crystal Palace. And then the real goal-scoring threat of the likes of Jean-Philippe Mateta. And now they've got Eddie Nketiah to add into that mix, joined, of course, from Arsenal. I think it was on deadline day, it might have been, that he joined from Arsenal. But you know, Adam Wharton in the middle. They've got really good quality, Crystal Palace, and I think if they kind of get that run of games, get that consistency in the side, I think they can be a threat this season to the big sides. But so far they've struggled in games probably where they feel they should be probably winning, or at least competing a lot better. And, you know, of course, it's not panic stations yet, but they have to find their first win somewhere. As that ball's fed out to Munoz, does well, takes the first touch, but as he tries to play it in field, it has a little touch off Dallo. Now United come away with the ball. Xerxes feeds it through for Garnacho. Alejandro Garnacho! Big save by Dean Henderson. The former Manchester United man comes up with a big save to deny Garnacho, who's in roaring form at the moment. Garnacho, 3 goals in his last 2 matches. And it's a beautiful ball by Xerxes. Through to the on-running Garnacho, who sees off 2 Palace players to his right to take the strike, and palm behind by Dean Henderson. Really good save. Outstretched left hand, parries it behind for the corner. It was really nice play between the lines from United, though, from Xerxes and Garnacho initially. Corner taken short by United. Fernandez to deliver. This cross is well blocked by Palace as they head it clear through Mateta. Back to Mazraoui. Now Fernandez. Looking to switch the ball out to the left. And Martinez does bring it down. Unorthodox for United. 10 minutes gone. 0-0 here at Selhurst Park. An energetic start from the visitors, who've controlled the early possession. 63% possession so far for Manchester United. Dulicht to Mazraoui. Trying to go for the 1-2 down that left-hand side, but Palace there to intercept, and Eza felt he was pulled. The referee does agree, and Palace get the free kick here on this left-hand side. Of course, Abere Eza, as I said, a massive asset to Crystal Palace. Many thought he was going to leave in the summer. Of course, got a goal and an assist in the cup game away at QPR in the week, so is in form as that free kick's taken short. Back with Eza. Trying to go for the 1-2. It's a bit overhead as Wharton has a bit of covering to do here and does well, but ultimately loses out with a number of bodies there from United. Here comes Xerxes. Great challenge. And Ericsson not allowed to see it away. It's a bit last ditch from Palace there. So throwing their bodies to it as Ahmad picks it up. Richards tries to intercept and Kamara will see it clear for Palace. Got a bit scrappy there from Palace in the midfield. Wharton did well. He tried to block off Garnacho and Xerxes was round the other end. Just got seen off, and the sheer amount of bodies there from United caught Adam Wharton out. Ultimately got the help from his defence that he needed and ended up denying Manchester United an opportunity at goal. They play from the throw-in, United, and Ahmad tries to keep it in. He does, and he gets the corner off Tyreek Mitchell, who was following him back. That's good play by Ahmad. Corner for Manchester United. Their third corner of the game already. We talk about, you know, the last two results, albeit they played Barnsley at home at the week, and maybe that was kind of, yeah, they're 7-0, it's Manchester United's League One team. But no matter who you play, playing that football, scoring the goals, it breeds confidence within the team. And another corner for Ericsson to take. De Ligt again arriving! And somehow it stayed out. Dean Henderson, I think, might have got something to it. It goes for a corner. Have to see this again. Really good delivery by Ericsson. Fizz to the back post. De Ligt heads it right onto the ground, and Henderson does get in the way of it. And he somehow flicks it. Kind of comes off his right leg and flicks out for the corner. It was good goal. Very good goalkeeping. Great reactions as Ericsson delivers again. From the left-hand side. Flicked away at the front post. Fernandes recycles back to Ericsson. Back to Fernandes again. Tried to lift it over the top. One for Garnacho to chase. Does get there. Finds Ericsson, who crosses it again. And the shot is cleared away from Martinez, who's seen it go wide. I think it might have took a deflection as well on the way through, but goodness me, United are peppering the goal at the minute. Ericsson with a cross, and then it just falls nicely for Martinez in the middle. See it again, it's Guehi just gets beaten past, and Mateta's there to try and help out, and the shot saved by Henderson and out for another corner. Ericsson again, back post and headed away, only as far as Ahmad here, and the cross by the left is overhit that time from Martinez. Goal kick. Goodness me, Manchester United have had a number of early chances. Quite a few early opportunities so far to take the lead, but nothing doing as of yet. Dean Henderson certainly earning his money, certainly showing his worth in that Crystal Palace team early doors. Man United 4 shots, 4 on target so far in the first 14.5 minutes. Palace without a single shot in the game, so it's clear it's one-way traffic at the moment as Eza tried to intercept there. It's a bit sloppy again from United in possession as Mateta cleans it up. And now Munoz. Back with Lacroix. What a name, by the way. Maxence Lacroix. Here's Kamara. Spins it out wide. One for Munoz to chase, but the bounce just lets the Palace right wing back down. Goes out for a Manchester United throw. 15 minutes gone, and I have to say, albeit Manchester United in good form at the moment, obviously with those last 2 victories, but they've played really nicely in those moments. There's a clear intent of what they want to do. They want to find the ball to their wide areas, get the ball into space, and I think they're winning their battles. They're playing nice crisp passing. They're not afraid to kind of take a man on or kind of play into the press of Palace in that sense at times, and I think it's quite impressive so far. As Chris Richards throws himself at that challenge, Man United come out with the ball here on the right hand side with Mazraoui. Again tussling for the battle as Mitchell wins it. Tries to play it straight across as Wharton now takes it away from Eriksson but couldn't find a teammate. Dalot picks up for United. Now De Ligt to Martinez. Well, Crystal Palace haven't lost to Manchester United at home in the last 4 meetings here. Manchester United's last win against Palace here at Selhurst Park came in July 2020. Over 4 years ago was the last time Manchester United won on this ground. And they won on that occasion by 2-0. Since then, they've drawn 0-0, lost 1-0, drawn 1-1 and lost 4-0 in their last 4 meetings between the sides here. So it's not a happy hunting ground in recent years for Manchester United. More often than not, it's a place where Manchester United want to forget they even were. Actually, it was a really long run that Palace had failed to get anything out of games here. They actually went a good 5 years without picking up a point against Manchester United at Selhurst Park beforehand. So certainly each club has their spells. Here's Garnacho. Nice link up with Fernandez, but the return ball was just a bit ahead of Garnacho and Henderson came flying out to grab the ball. Again, it's a nice attempt from Garnacho and Fernandez, the give and go. But ultimately, the Palace keeper again shielding the ball well as Eza is taken out there. As the ball went into midfield, and Mazraoui committed the foul, so another Crystal Palace free kick on the way. Dean Henderson will take this free kick for Palace in their own half. Out to the right hand side. Again, couldn't keep the ball up there, Palace. Struggling to keep possession at the moment as Manchester United break down the other end. Here comes Garnacho. And Daniel Munoz wants a foul. The referee said no. Throw in to Manchester United. And Lacroix was the one that thought he was fouled there, but the referee said there was no foul as United got the throw in. The referee, by the way, is David Coote. We've already had some VAR intervention elsewhere this afternoon. It's been a busy day in the Premier League. Our VAR this afternoon is Chris Kavanagh. So David Coote, the referee, and Chris Kavanagh, the VAR. Mazraoui finds Ahmad. Back to Mazraoui. Palace surrounding the United players, but Kamada got a bit too much in his challenge and gives away the free kick. Won by Kobbie Mainoo. Taken quickly. Again, the blocks in midfield from Palace as Wharton tries to find Nketiah, who does really well. It spins away. Finds Munoz, who's trying to hold off Dalot, but couldn't keep the ball there, Munoz. Gave it up a bit cheaply, to be honest. As now Man United come the other way with Garnacho. Tried to square it across to Xerxes, but intercepted. It's gone a bit open the last few minutes. Neither side have really been able to keep consistent possession. 20 minutes gone in the game. Still goalless, but it's certainly Manchester United that have had the better of the chances so far in this one. Garnacho's one. Parried wide by Henderson. De Ligt's chance from the corner put wide. Martinez with a chance. He had his also put behind for a corner. So multiple opportunities from Manchester United's point of view to try and take the lead. So far unable to. As the ball over the top. Here's Mateta making the run in behind. De Ligt comes across. Mateta still in the box. Sent wide by De Ligt. Mateta keeps it alive for Palace and tries to get the ball across, but takes a deflection off De Ligt and easily gathered by Andre Onana there for Manchester United. It's good defending by United. It looked to be they run a bit of bother, but De Ligt covered across really well, seen his man out wide, and really kind of took the sting out of the counter-attack from the Frenchman. And ultimately, Manchester United retrieve the ball and can come again. And that's something that Manchester United haven't been good enough at recent times. Kind of defending situations really well and having that kind of know-how to kind of see out a team and kind of stop them from getting a clean effort on goal or letting them keep the attack going. Kind of just stifle the opposition, and I think that's something we've seen from Manchester United in the last 2 games, albeit against opposition that you should be defending and keeping clean sheets against. The side that hadn't picked up a point in the league at that time in Southampton, and then League One Barnsley. But you know, as I said, no matter who you're playing, it does give you confidence. It improves your game. It keeps you it ups the morale and the momentum and the kind of confidence of the team as a whole, and it certainly improves morale in the team. Because let's be honest, heading into that Southampton game last week after the international break, Manchester United were in a sense of they'd won one of their first 3 games. They'd lost games back to back against Brighton and Liverpool, and we're heading into the Southampton game knowing that if they hadn't got 3 points, there would have been a lot of arguments, a lot of questions asked about what was going on. But they put all those to bed in that game, and I think that they've kind of kicked on since then. As Garnacho looks for the cross, Mitchell the head clear, brought down by Mainu. Keeps United on the front foot. Mazraoui out wide to Ahmad, up against Mitchell. Ahmad drives in field, lovely little jink, but ultimately Palace get a foot in somewhere, and I think it was Wharton that got it back. Ultimately ends up in the hands of Dean Henderson. Palace go long again. Mateta gets his head to that one, but it's going to be headed right back into Man United possession, with Dalot picking the ball up in that area, deep in his own half. Onana to De Ligt. De Ligt to Mazraoui. Looking to try and go over the top for Ahmad, and Dean Henderson committed himself and put it out for the Man United throw-in. It looked like Palace were going to defend that situation, but Henderson took no risks and put it out for the Manchester United throw. Here is De Ligt on the ball now. Mazraoui trying to find Mainu in midfield. That's good from Fernandes to win it back. Finds it out to Dalot. It's good possession for Manchester United. Look at that. Last 10 minutes, Man United have had 24 passes in the final third. Palace just 4. So clearly United getting more joy in the final third than their counterparts. Or their opponents, whatever you want to call them. As Mazraoui goes back to Onana. Patience about Manchester United at this minute in time. 25 gone. Still goalless at Selhurst Park. Martinez. Back to Onana. Well, one stat this afternoon that may or may not come to fruition, but we have to mention it. Oliver Glasner has the chance to become the 9th manager, only the 9th manager in Premier League history to win his first 2 matches against Manchester United in the Premier League. Roberto De Zerbi is the most recent, of course, done it with Brighton 12 months ago as the Brighton manager, De Zerbi. So Glasner has that chance, obviously winning his first match in charge of Palace. against United. And we'll see if his team can repeat that. Or at least win. And he would become the 9th to do it. Here's Ahmad. Up against Richards and Mitchell. Both trying to stop him, but Eza has to be the one that gets the toe in. And puts that out for a United throw. Throw in taken as Ericsson goes out to Dallow. Dallow feeds it through. Garnacho of the crossbar. The follow-up is also off the crossbar. Goodness me, Fernandez and Garnacho with a goal gaping. Neither could find the nets, and both hit the woodwork. You couldn't do it if you tried. Comes back wide to Dallow. Dallow feeds it beautifully through for Garnacho, maybe just onside, and the shot is pinged off the crossbar, and then it rebounds back out for Fernandez. See it again. Through the lines, Garnacho swings at it with his right. Blasts at the crossbar, and then the rebound comes out for Fernandez, and his shot just tips the top of the crossbar. Back-to-back woodwork shots for Manchester United. Kobbie Mainoo spins it wide for Garnacho. Brings it down well. Instantly pressed upon, but Ericsson receives it. Now Martinez. Back to Ericsson, but United seemingly getting closer. I was going to make the point about Bruno Fernandes. Hasn't scored a goal in the Premier League yet this season. Has had 13 shots. Has played just over 350 minutes, or would be around about 370 minutes now in the Premier League this season without scoring. Only has an XG of 1.50 from his 13 shots that he's taken, but that one certainly would have been a big XG maker. As Fernandez now links up with Garnacho. Ericsson to Dallow. Palace trying to fill out the midfield. United getting joy from those wide areas at the moment. Here's Ahmad. Back to Ericsson. Spins it into the box. 3 were in there, but headed away by Guehi. Palace again just struggling to keep the possession as they clear. Mitchell tried to stop Ahmad, but Ericsson's cross again. Spun out to the left-hand side for Fernandez. Back with Dallow. Lifts it over the top. Finds Garnacho battling with Lacroix. But Lacroix does really well in holding off his winger. And sees it out for a Crystal Palace goal kick. Again, I said it, you couldn't write that. You couldn't do it if you tried, really. Hitting the crossbar in back-to-back shots in the same phase of play. I mean, honestly, it should be 1 or 2-0 to Manchester United by now, the chances they've had at the very least. Here's Mainoo, Xerxes, linking up with Fernandez. Xerxes now finds Ahmad, and again, no real space to take the shot there on that occasion, as Palace piled out the middle on the edge of their box, and they'll get a free kick here, Palace, for a foul somewhere around in there that the referee had spotted. So a free kick goes Crystal Palace's way. Oliver Glasner's calling to his players, kind of hitting his chest. I don't know whether he's saying chest out, keep pushing the physicality side of the game. I have no idea what he's doing, but he's doing something. Free kick to Palace, as I said. 30 minutes gone. Still 0-0. But certainly, as I said, Manchester United have been the better side, much more threatening side, and probably should be ahead, but shoulda, woulda, coulda, and all that. And as Dean Henderson, under a bit of pressure from Xerxes, has to put it straight out for a throw. And he's certainly frustrated with his team that there was no open pass. So United throw in coming here down the right hand side. With Mazraoui taking. Certainly taking his time. Throws it down the line for Fernandez. Tries to flick it past Mitchell, but Richards gets there as well. And they try and keep it in play, Palace, but goes out for another United throw. It's back with Martinez. Right to Dallow. Steps past Eddie Nketiah. Finding Ericsson. He has to go back again though. Across it comes to De Ligt. Mazraoui. Chips it over the top. Ahmad. Free space to run down the right. And gets in a bit of a battle with Chris Richards, I believe. Or actually, it was Mark Gurhey over there. And Ahmad gets the throw in out of the situation. Mazraoui. Nice link up, trying to squeeze it through Mitchell and Kamara there as Mitchell clears, but again a United throw coming. They waste no time in taking that one as they try and keep it in play, but Palace there trying to intercept there through Eza. Just kept alive as Fernandez tries to flick it for Garnacho. Munoz doesn't clear it well, and that one will spin out for a Manchester United corner. Palace are struggling at the minute. Not only keep the ball, but just get it out of their own defensive third. Every clearance has gone out for a throw-in to Manchester United. Palace really struggling to get out of this pressure at the moment. Let's see what United can do from this corner. De Ligt has come close twice from those corners. Ericsson's delivery. Xerxes heads it wide. Got a free header on it, did Joshua Xerxes. Just free at the back post. Tariq Mitchell just lets him go, and Xerxes just spins on it and tries to flick it down into the corner, but hits it wide of the post. Again, another chance gone a begging for Manchester United, who at this moment, as Palace just put it out again for a throw into Manchester United. Again, really struggling Palace at this minute. Incredibly. It's bizarre. Over 70% possession Manchester United have had. They've had 7 shots, 4 big chances in the game. And their XG at this minute in time is 1.65. So on the basis of XG, Manchester United should have at least 1 goal, probably pushing 2 goals in this game. Palace without a single shot after 34 minutes. As Munoz tries to press Garnacho. And Dallow just goes back to his keeper, but Mateta's on the charge. And De Ligt just about lays that off, but Martinez gets it wide for Mazraoui. Gets United out of that press. And now Mazraoui tries to find Garnacho, but the ball's just too much towards Dean Henderson, who deals with that moment for Palace. That was better from Crystal Palace. They tried to press Manchester United back, and ultimately Man United played out of it, but it got Palace up the field at least. But at the minute, they cannot keep sustained possession no matter what. Here's Fernandez. Now finds Ahmad. Cuts it back for Fernandez, who has a shot charged down by Gurhey. Out for another Manchester United throw. I have to say these Palace defenders might need to lie down at half-time because they have been worked ragged in this first half. Around about 10 minutes to go, and it's quite remarkable how it's still 0-0. But it's credit to Palace that they haven't kind of crumbled or fell apart or not kind of allowed Manchester United a cheap one. They've had to work hard for it. It's Dallow. Spins it out for Garnacho. Calls of handball from the Palace crowd, but Palace win the ball back, and Eddie Nketiah, as he tried to break, ends up getting the free kick and the first yellow card of the game. It comes the way of the Manchester United defender. Or it might have been actually Garnacho. It's one of the two of them. Yeah, it's an easy yellow card. It is Garnacho. Now that gets the card. So he gets the first booking of the night, or the evening, shall I say. It's Palace. Find it out to Munoz. Back to Wharton. Across to Richards. Now Kamada and Eze. Barry Eze tried to squeeze it through the lines. Just came off the hand of Mazraoui on the way through, and free kick goes the way of Palace. And yeah, you could see from the wide angle it was a handball. Just came off the right arm of Nusir Mazraoui. I mean, it was an accidental handball, but handball's handball. Gives Palace their first real attacking chance in about 15-20 minutes. As Eze ready to take this free kick. Right-footed delivery. Flicked on by Xerxes, I think, there. And we'll go for a corner to Palace. Their first corner of the game. Man United have had 6 corners. Palace are about to get their first. With 8 minutes to go in the half. Could Palace be wakening up here before the half-time whistle comes? Let's see. Corner on the right-hand side. Adam Wharton will take. Left-footed. Takes it short. To Kamada. Back with Wharton, who looks to fizz it across. Took a deflection. There's a United player down, but United won a counter. As that was stopped by a very good challenge on Garnacho, as it's Ahmad that's gone down, and let's just say in a very delicate area, shall we say. Let's just say that. He's in real pain as Ahmad. We'll just see this again. Whew. Some whack by Wharton there. He's back to his feet. He will be okay to continue. Well, Ahmad. No, good moment for Crystal Palace. It's probably the best you can call it, really. A good moment. But again, not really showing much attacking threat so far. Whether or not if it's Man United defending really well or not, Crystal Palace need to do something to try and get their players involved. We've not seen very much of Eddie Nketiah at all in this game whatsoever, or really anything from Palace offensively in the final third. But here come United. Here's Ahmad. Flicks it round the corner, finds Fernandez, who looks to chip it across, but again far too close to the Palace keeper, who gets his hands to it and gathers once again. Henderson to Kamada. To Eze. He's running away from his marker. He's tracked him all the way as Mazraoui, and Eze's kept a hold of the ball. Now flicks it out to Lacroix, who under pressure has to go back to his keeper, who absolutely rifles it out for a throw-in. I mean, I don't know what the attempt is there from Palace. I mean, there's no intent whatsoever. The many times they've booted the ball out for a throw-in, I can't count them on 2 hands. You need a whole room full of people to count them on many hands, but it's really ancient football. I mean, that's just terrible. We need to find an outball, because there's no outball at the minute for Palace. Dean Henderson's just kind of hoofing it, and add in whatever adjective you wish, or any verb, sorry, you wish. He's just absolutely blasting the ball anywhere it goes, and more often than not, like 99% of the time, it's gone out for a throw-in. To Manchester United, it just piles and keeps the pressure on Palace, and they just aren't able to kind of break that. As Mainu wants to have a shot, and he hits his own man in Eriksson, and it deflects behind. We'll go for a goal kick, of course, as it come off a United player there. Yeah, Eriksson tries to get out of the way and actually gets in the way of the shot ultimately. Less than 5 minutes to go. Crystal Palace 0, Manchester United 0. And considering the massive gulf and quality between the two sides in this first half, it's quite remarkable that it is still 0-0. Flick on there by Martinez, helps his team out. He hooks it forward now out to the right hand side for Ahmad. Brought down by Fernandez. Now Ahmad. Again, squeezed through the line to Ericsson. Now out wide it goes. Fernandez across and Xerxes, and the ball goes all the way through. I think Henderson might have got something on the end of that. Somehow it hasn't went in again. Have to see this again. It's down the right hand side. It's really nice play. Ahmad plays it to Ericsson through the lines, and then Ericsson spins it around the corner. Fernandez goes across. Xerxes tries to reach, and then Garnacho was also stretching, but I think Henderson got something to this, did he? Maybe, just maybe. Yeah, he did. Corner for United. They've come very close again as Ahmad delivers. Header away, not fully cleared as Menu spins it back in, and Xerxes across, but went all the way across and out for a goal kick. Everything Man United are throwing at Palace, they're deflecting it right back at them. Have to be honest, their defence has been very resilient. Maybe a slice of luck in the way that back-to-back crossbar hit earlier on this afternoon, earlier on in the game, but you know, they've clung on for dear life, Crystal Palace, and at this minute in time, somehow they're still keeping a clean sheet, which I'm baffled as to how. As Henderson goes long again, De Ligt wins the first header and the second. Brought down though by Palace. Up in the air it goes again. Wharton trying to battle in midfield, but got a bit of a little tug as Nketiah couldn't keep it, but Wharton does well to nip in and keep Palace on the ball as, goodness me, Lacroix and Richards hadn't a clue what was going on there. They left it for each other, and almost Xerxes had a straight run through as the ball up to Mateta, flicked on, but again picked up by United again as Richards tried to beat past Garnacho. The ball will come back with Gurhey. Now Kamara to Richards. Now into the space for Nketiah, who spins away from Menu. Eddie Nketiah now. Followed by Menu, but plays the ball down the left-hand side. Mitchell looking for the cross, the cut back, and Eza has this shot straight down the throat of Onana. That's probably it's Palace's best move of the game. And it was all started by Eddie Nketiah getting on the ball, going from one side to the other. Plays a lovely ball through the lines to find Tyreek Mitchell. Mitchell with a cutback with his left. And then Eza tries to take it first time, and it's just straight at Andre Onana. But that's Palace's, without a shadow of a doubt, their best chance of the afternoon. And their first shot of the afternoon. That'll give Palace confidence just before half-time. Last minute of the half. Wharton tries to go through to Eza again, but Mazraoui gets there and clears his lines. Xerxes trying to link up with Ahmad, and again the real tussle for the ball down that left, but Mitchell comes out with it, finds Eza. It's better from Palace. Eza again try to force it in behind for Mateta, but lost on that occasion. And United getting a bit sloppy here towards the end of the half. Here's Gurhey. See how long will be added on. Wouldn't say very much, but you never know. Kamada. Back it comes to Gurhey. 1 added minutes at the end of the half then. And here's Mateta. Finds Nketiah now. Eddie Nketiah spins across. Nketiah wanted to shoot, but easily charged down by Martinez there. And the clearance from United. Kept alive by Richards. Munoz back to Richards, and now back to Gurhey. Much better from Palace. Certainly showing something that they've failed to show all the way through this first half, and had a late flurry just before the break as Mitchell again steals the ball away. Eza just gets there ahead of his marker. Finds Nketiah now. Now out wide to Mitchell. Nice link up between the two players there as Nketiah looks to lift it into the box, and up in the air, still not away, is Mateta. because he headed it away from goal rather than towards it. And that is the end of the first half. A late flurry from Crystal Palace. They had failed to have a shot until the 43rd minute of the game. Those last few minutes of the game, they were trying to pepper and get a nick a goal just before half-time. But how, at half-time, it is 0-0 is baffling. Manchester United have had chance after chance after chance, but none of them seem to be going in. Crystal Palace seem to have a force field around their goal. Half-time at Selhurst Park. It's Crystal Palace 0, Manchester United 0. Analysis on the way next. Welcome back to Premier League Live. Half-time at Selhurst Park. It is Crystal Palace 0, Manchester United 0 at the break. And I'd have to say, you would be a fool to say that it has been deserved for Crystal Palace to be level at the break. It's been a first half to revere for Manchester United. Much the better side. And had so many goal opportunities in that first half of it. The crossbar twice. Dean Henderson's been called into action more times than enough in that first half. Has made some big saves, and they've come ever so close on multiple occasions, Manchester United, but it just hasn't gone in for them in this first half, although they have to keep at it if they do want to win this game. They've had 9 shots in that first half, 5 big chances, Manchester United overall, so they've certainly peppered the Crystal Palace goal in that first half, but struggling to make anything out of it in the end. Crystal Palace actually had a late flurry towards the end of the half, in the last 2 or 3 minutes of the half, when Abere Eze had a shot straight at Onana, and then there was a few other opportunities just before the half, ultimately coming to nothing. But I'd say that Crystal Palace will be much the happier of the two sides, obviously, at half-time. The fact that they've been nowhere to be seen for over kind of 90% of that half, over 40 minutes of that half. They were nowhere to be seen in the final, in the attack, in Man United's half, really. They couldn't get out of their own half for the majority of that first 45 minutes. And I think it was a really good start from Manchester United. They controlled the early possession. They took the sting out of the game. They kind of took the energy out of the home crowd early on. And I think that kind of settled them a lot quicker. They really took control of the game. They started to get some early chances, and Palace just really couldn't handle it in the first few minutes. They were struggling to keep the possession. They were giving the ball away very, very sloppy, Crystal Palace, early on. And Manchester United were just winning the ball back time and time and time again. And out balls from Palace, there was no out ball. They were passing it out straight out for throw-ins. I mean, I don't know how many throw-ins Manchester United had in that first half, but I can guarantee it was a lot. Because Crystal Palace, they had 17 throw-ins in that first half, Manchester United, compared to Crystal Palace's 3. So to really put that into context, they were pinging balls out. Dean Henderson just hadn't got an out ball, and he was just pumping it up the field, and it was going out for a throw-in. And at one point in the half, he got really frustrated with his team because he just doesn't have a pass on, and he's just aimlessly hitting it forward, hoping that something happens. But ultimately, that was wasteful from Crystal Palace's point of view. And Manchester United were getting the ball back time and time again, keeping that pressure on the Palace defence. And credit to the defence, because when you're really, really under pressure like that, it's about standing up. It's about kind of showing your resilience and your solidity, and how good you are as a group and your mentality as a team. Because a lot of teams after that first half would have really kind of fell away and conceded just before half time, or really given away something cheap just before half time. But Palace stayed rigid, stayed stubborn, stayed controlled, and defensively, albeit sometimes it was last ditch defending, but sometimes you have to. Your keeper has to be involved, your defence have to be on it. And I think at times Crystal Palace held in there and hung on in there, really. But it was, I have to say, from Manchester United's point of view, I'd say they'd be happy with how they've played, but they'll be baffled, I think, more than anything, as to how they haven't taken the lead. I mean, Garnacho had an early chance that was saved by Henderson early on, and it was a really good move. And I think Palace really struggled to deal with the runners off the ball early on in the game, and Xerxes plays a really nice ball, and Garnacho tries to go across goal to find that far corner, but really well saved by Dean Henderson, outstretched left arm, and that kind of set the tone for the game really early on. And then of course they hit the bar twice in the back to back. I mean, the ball played by Dalot again through the lines, Garnacho making that run off the back of his defender round the outside, strides under the ball, tries to take it with his right to find the top corner, and he just hits it right off the crossbar. And from Palace's point of view, it's really bad defending. I mean, Munoz doesn't see his man. He sees Garnacho trying to make the move, but he doesn't get back in time. And if that goes in, he's at fault for that situation, really, because he didn't defend his winger well enough. It hits the bar, and then it bounces back out to Fernandes, who tries to swipe at it. It bounces off the ground and up off the top of the crossbar in the end. De Ligt had a good chance. He headed it down, and Henderson saved at the back post. Really good header, right down onto the ground, and Henderson somehow adjusted to make the save. Again, those are only a handful of chances, but Manchester United had so many opportunities to take the lead in that first half, of which they didn't. And crucially, that is massively in Palace's favour, obviously, considering the fact that United have been the better side, much the more threatening of the two teams. But ultimately, it was Palace that probably ended the half the better. It was a really good run on their first shot of the game. Eze ends up having the shot, but it was a really good run from Nketiah from right to left. Played it through to Mitchell, and Mitchell cuts it back for an on-running Eze, who's free inside the box, and he just takes it first time, kind of the instep of his right boot straight at the Manchester United keeper. But obviously, I would say Palace would be the happier of the two teams. Manchester United would say, we've had very good chances, we played good football, we just need to find the finish. And that's let them down in that half, considering they've scored 10 goals in the last two games, 7 a few days ago. It is they're struggling to find the back of the net just yet. Maybe they have, shall we say, scored too many goals sometimes, and the well's gone dry. Who knows? So that second half is coming up very shortly. We will tell you about that when it does. But let's go to all the games results from the 3 o'clocks this afternoon, because I said I would tell you in detail all the results. Let's start with the game at Villa Park. Aston Villa had come from behind to beat Wolverhampton Wanderers by 3-1. Wolves took the lead through Mateus Cunha. Wolves without a win to start the season, but Cunha put them ahead in the first half. It looked like Wolves were heading towards a win, and their defence was peppered in the second half by Villa. Villa ultimately got their equaliser through Ollie Watkins on the 73rd minute. It was then the 88th minute when Ezri Konsa flipped the game on its head and made it 2-1 to Villa, before a 94th minute goal from John Duran made it 3-1 and certainly wrapped up the points for Aston Villa, who left it late, scoring all 3 goals in the final 17 minutes of that game to win by 3-1 and make it back-to-back wins, of course, midweek and at this weekend, of course. So 3 points for Villa, no points for Wolves, continuing on that run without a win this season. It was much more comfortable for Fulham. Ultimately, in the end, Raul Jimenez opened their scoring after just 5 minutes against Newcastle. It was then doubled through Emile Smith-Rowe around 17 minutes later. Harvey Barnes got one back for Newcastle. Thought they were going to get back into the game for a 92nd minute goal from Reece Nelson. Made it 3 to wrap the game up for Fulham in that one, winning by 3-1. It was 1-1 between Leicester and Everton. Everton again, for the third game in a row, taking the lead and leading in that game into the latter stages, but failing to convert that lead into 3 points. Iliman Ndiaye scored after just 12 minutes to give Everton the lead at the King Power Stadium. It took all the way to the 73rd minute before Leicester had got their leveller, and they were peppering the goal late on to try and get a winner. But it was Steffi Mavadidi's equaliser that was to be the last and only goal for Leicester of the game in that one, and a draw, probably a fair result. Both sides without a win to start the campaign. Liverpool bounced back from defeat at home against Nottingham Forest last week with a win at home against Bournemouth this week. The last time Liverpool were back-to-back 3 o'clock kickoffs in the Premier League was when Raheem Sterling was in the team, and in the second of those games he scored his first senior goal for the club around 10 years ago, and they bounced back with a 3-0 win against Bournemouth today. Luis Diaz got 2 goals, and Darwin Núñez got his first under the new manager and his first of the season. Diaz is now Liverpool's top goal scorer in the league. It was after Antoine Semenyo had a goal disallowed for Bournemouth after just 5 minutes, when VAR deemed him to be offside, and I can confirm he was offside. All 3 goals from Liverpool in the first half. They kind of settled it at 3-0, and they were comfortable just managing the game in the second half. Liverpool 3-0 winners. Southampton finished 1-1 against Ipswich. They both without a win to start the season. Tyler Dibbling gave Southampton the lead before a 95th minute equaliser from Sam Morsey levelled the game for Ipswich to rescue a point on the south coast. And a comeback from Tottenham. Brian Mbeumo, for the second successive week, Brentford had scored in the first minute of a game. 22 seconds last week, 23 seconds this week. Brian Mbeumo opened the scoring for Brentford. Just 7 minutes later, Dominic Solanke levelled for Spurs before in the 28th minute, Brennan Johnson gave Spurs the lead. Scored the winner in the League Cup game in midweek, did Johnson. He's got 2-2 before James Maddison wrapped up the points, making it 3-1 to Tottenham. We will quickly show you the table then. This is the way it stands at the top. Liverpool leading the way on goal difference. Of course, Manchester City just in second. Joint top, shall we say. They've still to play, of course, play Arsenal tomorrow. Liverpool top. Man City second, and then Aston Villa are in third. Them 3 teams on 12 points. Chelsea, Arsenal and Newcastle on 10 points. Chelsea winning today, going up into the top 4. Arsenal dropping out, but they've still to play Manchester City tomorrow, and Newcastle also falling to their first defeat of the season. Brighton still to play tomorrow along with Nottingham Forest, and Fulham and Tottenham breaking into the top 10. In the bottom half, as you can see, it's Wolves propping up the table with just a single point to start the season. Everton and Southampton both without a point coming into this weekend, but both leave with just a single point. They prop up the bottom 3. Ipswich just outside the bottom 3 on 3 points, 3 draws from their 5 games. Same with Palace, they're currently drawing here at the moment. Leicester in 15th, also with 3 points. West Ham with 4, Bournemouth with 5, Brentford with 6, and Manchester United, as it stands, away at Palace on 7 points. Right, that's where we stand. The second half is on the way in just a moment from Selhurst Park. Let's tell you what's coming up tomorrow, though, because big game tomorrow. But we start in the earlier game on the south coast at the Amex Stadium as Brighton take on Nottingham Forest. Can Nottingham Forest get back-to-back away wins at Anfield and at the Amex, or will Brighton bounce back to win there tomorrow? Then comes the big one. Manchester City taking on Arsenal tomorrow, 4:30. The last season's top 2 face off at the Etihad again. We will see what comes of that. That's tomorrow from 4:30. The second half at Selhurst is on the way next. Welcome back to Premier League Live. Half-time at Selhurst Park. It's Crystal Palace 0, Manchester United 0 at this moment in time. And it looks like Crystal Palace are going to be making changes, albeit they had a good end of the first half. Well, as good as it could have been towards the end of the first half. And they're going to make changes because for the vast majority of that first half they were well below par. And I think Oliver Glasner is going to make changes. It looks like a double change for Palace. Jefferson Lerma is certainly one of those. There's another player there just sorting his socks out. I'll get the number of the back of his shirt and I'll tell you who that is that's going to be joining the field of play in a moment or two as Oliver Glasner emerges from the tunnel, ready to see his side try and compete with United in the second half, because say they were competing in the first half would be a barefaced lie, really. Ismaila Sarr is going to be one of those substitutions, so he's going to replace Mateta. So Sarr coming on for Mateta, the 26-year-old Senegalese. Ismaila Sarr, of course, the former Watford player, joined Crystal Palace on the 1st of August for £15 million from Marseille, who he joined last summer. And Jefferson Lerma is going to replace Adam Wharton in the midfield. So a double change for Palace at the break. So some swapping to do for Palace as we get underway for the second half. Palace attacking from right to left. Manchester United from left to right, of course, in this second 45. A second half where Palace can be proud of their defending in the first half. Anything else, they would say that is left to be not talked about, really. Manchester United, again, as I said, how they weren't leading at half-time is really beyond comprehension, to be honest, because they were much the better side in that first half, no questions about that. But if you don't put the ball in the back of the net, you're really kind of doing yourself a disservice, really, in terms of the ultimate outcome of the game. And it's a Manchester United side that struggled for goals last season. They've only scored 5 goals this season in the Premier League, 3 of which came last weekend, so it's a bit skewed, considering after 3 games they'd scored 2 goals in the league. 1 against Brighton and 1 against Fulham. As here come Crystal Palace. Here's Eza breaking in from the narrow angle, and I think there was a bit of defending in there from United. They got the last touch. It will go for a Palace corner. Great break down the right hand side. Eza spins away, lovely pirouettes in the middle, breaks down the right hand side, plays it to Sarr. Sarr flicks it back to Eza, and Eza just tries to cut it back as he got inside the 6-yard box, tried to chip it past De Ligt, who kind of came crashing in to make sure it didn't get across goal, and will be a Palace corner. Great start to the half for Palace. Come out with a lot of energy at the start of this second half at the Holt End. Let's see what they can deliver from this corner. Right footed, a bit low, flicked across, and a bit of a pinball in the middle is Lacroix. I think ultimately there's a foul against Crystal Palace there, so a free kick will go United's way. Well, like a pinball machine as the cross came in. And I think David Cooch spotted something in there, so Man United get the free kick. Let's see it again. Cross came in, it went all the way through, and I think it came off Lerma, bouncing around, and United try and clear it. Ultimately, Lacroix, I think, might have done something. Lerma, maybe. Nonetheless, United get the free kick, but certainly a positive start to the second half for Crystal Palace. Coming out with a bit more energy in the side. As Onana goes long from this free kick, out to the left flank. Brought down by Xerxes, but cleared away by Lacroix. Sarr trying to link up with Eza, but intercepted by Mazraoui. And now Ahmad tried to get the ball through, but Mitchell got there ahead of him and blocked off that pass. And Man United get the throw in there on the right hand side, which Bruno Fernandes was desperate for, really. He got it, and here he comes down the right, trying to battle Mitchell, and comes across, does Chris Richards, to put it out for another Man United throw. Both sides pushing to start the half. Ahmad, Fernandes finds a little gap for Kobbie Mainoo, who tried to break past, but Kamara hooks it clear. Not by far, though, as Mazraoui finds Fernandes, whose cross is just over the head of both Xerxes and Garnacho in the middle. Goal kick. Goodness me, both sides have come out with a lot of energy. Stinging their tail at the start of the second half from both teams. That's what we want. Love an end-to-end game. As the Holt ends getting going now, making as much noise as they can to help their side along. Long ball by Henderson. As the head tennis immenses, and Eddie Nketiah wins Palace the throw down the right hand side, taken quickly by Munoz, and the ball just bounces behind for a goal kick. Interesting to see what way Palace are set up now in the second half. It's Ezra's gone, stayed on the left, Eddie Nketiah on the right. It's a straight swap between Sarr and Mateta up front, and then Kamada's gone more centrally, it seems, and Lerma's just covering across on the right hand side. So it's two straight swaps really, personnel for personnel really, from the first half to the second for Palace. No real change of system, as here is Ahmad for Manchester United, and try to find the top corner. Took a touch on the way through. Will be a corner. Just see it again, that pace from Ahmad. Steps across Mitchell, spins Mitchell, and just tried to find the top corner, but just took a slight nip on the way through. So a United corner, their first of the half. And they've certainly looked threatening from them. De Ligt with two headers. Xerxes had one headed wide. So to say they were winning the battle on corners would be fair, as the one's fizzed out to the edge of the box, and Fernandez kind of swipes at it but gets nowhere near it. And now Palace on the break here. Bursting forward down the left is Lerma. Lerma trying to spin around the corner for Ismaila Sarr, but far too close to Onana. And that attack comes to a pretty quick end for Palace down this left hand side. When they did come forward, Palace, in that first half, it was the counter attack that was the big threat. As Onana taking his time, looking to settle the game down again. I think United are just wanting that game to be at their tempo, their pace. As Garnacho flicks it around the corner, lovely link up with Dalot. Here's Xerxes. Now back to Garnacho, takes on Lacroix, turns back in field and tries to go for the cross, but well cleared away by Palace as Eza. Now Kamada finds Nketiah. Munoz tries to flick it forward, but again United there to intercept. Mainu. Now Fernandez. Fernandez again to Xerxes. Nice link up. Fernandez hits it wide. Goodness me. Again, really good approach play. The build-up play is fabulous again from United. Really good work from Mainu to see off two. Plays it to Fernandez, and the 1-2 link up between Fernandez and Xerxes, and the shot from Bruno Fernandez off the outside of his right boot, I believe. Yeah, he just tries to flick it with his right boot and just sees it go wide. I mean, complicates it unnecessarily there, Fernandez. And it goes wide for a goal kick. Again, another chance gone a-begging. From Manchester United point of view is Dean Henderson. Got it to the sidelines, just about kept in by Palace as United clear long. Guehi sends it back the way it came. Brought it down now was Eriksson for Manchester United. Down the left it comes through Dalot. Back in field to Martinez, now De Ligt. Mazraoui. De Ligt. Martinez. Squeezing it through Martinez, but Mainu's path was blocked. But well won back by Dalot. It's good pressure from Manchester United. Again, similarly just settling into that rhythm of the first half that they created. Consistently keeping the ball, and if they lose it, they win it back instantly. So Eriksson tried to find something different, but intercepted there by Palace, and Eza trying to spin away. Spun into trouble. And taken out, wins the free kick. Does Abere Eze for Crystal Palace. Richards goes back to Henderson. He will go long again. Martinez wins the header. Second ball won by Kamada. Again, diving for it was De Ligt, and somehow he's found Garnacho on the pass. Again, it just seems like those long balls from Palace, again, just a bit hopeless. They're not winning any of the first or second balls, really. They're not sustaining possession from it. They're just gifting Man United the ball again. It's De Ligt. Mazraoui. Richards hit that the wrong direction, and he had to cover over. Now Henderson under pressure. Goes long down the left. Eze again loses out in his header, and Kamada gives it away cheaply as Eriksson finds Fernandez. Now Ahmad. Again had to spin back as Palace getting bodies back, and Fernandez dispossessed. Here's Eze. Closed down well by Mazraoui. Now Fernandez. Again trying to overcomplicate it. And Eriksson just about keeps it. Martinez, now Eriksson. Mainu. Eriksson again. Bruno Fernandes. Again, Mazraoui. Just beaten to the ball by Chris Richards. Mitchell. Lerma now. And try to feed it out to the right, but not a single Palace player in that area. And it goes out for a throw-in to Manchester United. And I'm sure the Palace chairman, Steve Parish, watching on, not particularly enamoured by what his side have shown so far. Long ball over the top from United. Garnacho trying to run through, but ultimately as he tried to take the touch, it just skipped away from him, and Henderson could comfortably gather in the box for Palace. Again, Crystal Palace at this minute in time really, again, just not really getting much in the game. Struggling again, and I don't want to keep saying they're struggling, but they are. Just being truthful as Henderson goes long. De Ligt. Martinez keeps it in play. Nice touch back there by Lacroix. And Henderson again hoofs it long. The bouncing ball now. Just about dealt with by Mazraoui. He was under a lot of duress. Under pressure from Eze as Mazraoui keeps it in play. The Palace fans didn't think so, but it was in play. As Mazraoui's pass brought back to Henderson by Richards. Again, it just seems like Palace's tactic to get forward is hit and hope at the minute. From those goalkeeper passes, it's just a long ball, and it's hit and hope as Mazraoui gives back to Onana, who goes long this time. Brought down by Richards. Flicked around the corner by Lerma, but it was a wasted pass, and intercepted again by United as Ahmad tries to break down the right. Back to Fernandez. Now through to Xerxes. Flicks it on. Here's Christian Eriksen. Well charged down. Again, the last ditch challenging from Palace is quite strong. But at the moment, United's build-up play is one to really revel in. To be honest, as Xerxes does really well at seeing off Lerma there. Mainu. Fernandez trying to find Mainu on the run. Again, they're throwing everything at this at the minute, United, but Palace are doing exactly the same, and Ismail Assar wins Palace the free kick off Matthijs de Ligt and gets the Palace defence a bit of a breather at this moment, and looks like Marcus Rashford's ready on the sidelines to be entering the fray very shortly. So Erik ten Hag certainly wants to switch things up a bit. The side are certainly struggling to find the net. So Palace to take this free kick. Gohi ready to take it. Gerhi goes back. Played out to Mitchell. Plays it to Izzet. There's Palace again trying to move between the lines. And Ketia out wide to Munoz. Lerma. Not really getting far forward, our Palace on that occasion. It's back all the way with Gerhi again. Feeds it through the lines. Finds Izzet. Now out wide with Mitchell. Mitchell looking for the cross. And there's a little something on Ismail Assar there. But Palace were certain of a penalty. The Palace fans. But the referee and everybody else, I don't think, said penalty. Yeah, there's not really nothing in that whatsoever. Good cross by Mitchell. Threatening one. Assar takes the first touch, but it's never a penalty. Not a chance on that occasion. Martinez does little to nothing wrong. Don't think he barely touches Ismail Assar there. It's never a penalty as we get back underway then from the goal kick. Just over a half an hour to go, and it is Crystal Palace 0, Manchester United 0 here at Selhurst Park. As Fernandez got in a little space, and Mainoo's ball forward was intercepted, but Xerxes keeps it, finds it back to Mainoo. Now Fernandez, now Eriksson, back to Fernandez, out wide to Ahmad. Ahmad in the box, looking for the cut back across, and just about cleared away by Lacroix back there, and Palace again just see it away. And Ketia up the field, but I think it had just crossed the sideline before he could get it forward there. And Ketia, and a throw into United. And a substitution is coming here for Manchester United. I said Rashford was ready. He's going to be coming on. And Joshua Xerxes is going to be leaving the field. So Xerxes off and Rashford on. Of course, there is Rasmus Højlund is on the bench, but for United, but clearly his first appearance on the bench since he got injured, so I don't think Erik ten Hag wants to risk him too much, considering he is only returning from an injury. So Rashford comes on for Xerxes in that occasion. Garnacho. Right, Eriksson. Eriksson played forward. Mitchell to clear. Flicked forward by Kamara, but again Palace giving it up in midfield. As Eriksson finds it to Fernandez. Back to Eriksson. Now Fernandez again. Again, United trying everything in their playbook. Find a way through Palace, but at the minute they still can't find the finish. Let's see what Rashford can do if he gets on the ball here. Here is Mainoo. Finds Eriksson. Now Fernandez to Rashford. Rashford links it up with Mainoo. Mainoo spins back. Maybe too many touches. Too many passes from United as Fernandez has his one charge down. Although Dalot takes back control. Garnacho to cross it and turned into a shot there. And Dean Henderson gets it away. But Crystal Palace again clinging on for dear life in this one. Garnacho, I think he meant to cross it, but it turned into a shot and ultimately went out for a corner, which they've taken short, United. Here's Ahmad in the box. Again, could have cut it back for Eriksson, but again, Palace get it away, but Eze gives it away again. Now here's Ahmad. Well charged down as Kamara gets in the way. And I think referee's going to give a free kick against Manchester United. And there's going to be a yellow card as well. A couple of yellow cards coming out here, actually. I think Martinez got a yellow card for a challenge. And I think Dean Henderson's got a yellow card for complaining with the referee. Just say it again. Oh. I mean, what is Lisandro Martinez doing? He tries to challenge Kamara, but he goes in stomping down with both feet. And I mean, if he catches Kamara there, surely that's a red card. But he doesn't, and he gets away with it. But there is no excuse for that. Try and win the ball back, but Under no circumstances should you go in stomping on a player, or trying to stomp on a player. That's ridiculous. He gets a yellow card for it, Martinez, for the intention. Ends up not connecting, and Dean Henderson gets a yellow card for his complaining, for rushing towards the referee and calling for a red card, but that gets Dean Henderson a yellow for that. So 2 yellows on that occasion, as Lerma now finds it through for Nketiah. Eddie Nketiah has a bit of space, and Onana with a save, and then the follow-up is put wide again by Onana. Man United have come very close all afternoon, but again Crystal Palace had 2 chances denied there. It was Nketiah first, breaks to the edge of the box. The shot's comfortably saved by Onana the first time. He palms it out, and Ismaila Sarr there to try and follow up on the rebound. Adjusts for it acrobatically, tries to tip it over the top of Onana, who somehow gets his hands to it and keeps it out of his net, and he's surrounded by his teammates to celebrate that, as Palace have a corner. In it comes, Lerma heads wide. But ultimately, Eddie Nketiah's shot, probably, it's a good save by Onana initially, probably should make it, and then the follow-up is just crazy. That's an incredible save. How close Crystal Palace have just come to taking the lead. Many times have we said that United have come so close to taking the lead, while their opponents, who've shown barely nothing in the game, have come very close themselves. And that's going to be Eddie Nketiah's last involvement, because he's going to be leaving the field, and Will Hughes is going to be coming on in his place. So with 25 to go, Will Hughes coming on for Eddie Nketiah for Crystal Palace. And Eddie Nketiah just a bit disappointed to be coming off, albeit he's been heavily involved in 2 of Palace's best chances today. So I have to say he's done well with what he's been given in terms of feeding off scraps at times. He's tried his best and certainly has had 2 big chances in the game for Palace. Will Hughes comes on in his place, so we'll see what kind of switch-ups that is for Palace. I think they've gone to maybe trying to figure this out. Playing an interesting formation out of possession. Kind of a 5-2-3, 5-3-2 switch in the middle, with Lerma and Hughes, and then Kamada just breaking a bit further forward. As United keep the ball here with Mazraoui. Into the middle. Eriksson round the corner. Lovely link up between Fernandes and Mainu, as Fernandes is brought down. And he's now going to complain to the referee. He wants a yellow, but the referee's just going to give a free kick to United. Yeah, I mean, Chris Richards, you could probably claim that he could get a yellow for that, but, I mean, really? It's maybe a bit soft. Free kick nonetheless. And set piece for United. Certainly had no shortage of set pieces. 9 corners in the game. 3 free kicks. So this is their 4th free kick, which haven't had many of. Eriksson and Ahmad over it, but Ahmad just leaves. Eriksson will take. Right footed cross in all the way through to the back post, and it's just bundled behind. Man United players, led by De Ligt, claiming of a handball somewhere in there. There's a lot of players in such a tight little space at the back post. For me, I don't think there's any. I didn't see anything. Maybe Lerma, they're claiming. I don't know. See it from another angle. Maybe, actually, it might have been Lacroix. Stray hand, maybe. But I mean, it's so tight in there, and they have played on, so there's going to be no penalty, no handball. So corner just for Manchester United on the right, left-hand side. Eriksson will take again. Right-footed delivery, away by Richards, brought down by Ahmad. Tries to recycle it, chipped over the top by Fernandes, who his chip ball goes right behind for a goal kick. to Crystal Palace. It will be a very frustrating night if United do come away without a goal here this evening. They've been frustrated all the way throughout this game. 14 shots in the game, albeit only one of their last 10 have been on target. Considering they had their first 4 shots, all 4 of their first 4 shots were on target, and only one in their last 10 has been. So maybe that's an issue. But so far they've certainly continued to create. Lerma tries to spin in behind. Palace players on the run. Kamada was the one closest as Dallo brought it back to his keeper. And Onana who clears. Again, Palace trying to spin it in behind again. But Delict was there to get the header away, and Dallo hoofs it upfield, but Munoz again trying to get into the mix. It's Fernandez now, he goes over the top, but Henderson will come quick to that one and clear it away. And a bit end to end at the moment, a bit open this game, as Martinez is going to be penalised here for a foul on Crystal Palace man, Daichi Kamada. So a free kick goes the way of the home side again. With 20 minutes to go at Selhurst Park, it is still goalless between these two. Is there going to be a goal? And at which end? Mitchell, Richards, back to Henderson. Dean Henderson will try and find Munoz on the right flank, but Dallo got up for the header. Goes out for a Palace throw. Through in taken. Eze does really well to find Hughes, who speeds it out wide to find Mitchell. Body's cruising into the box for Palace, but Mitchell blocked off by his opposite number in Mazraoui. And now Hughes trying to scramble it safe for Palace, puts it out for a Man United throw. But again, there's maybe just that little bit of lack of confidence in Crystal Palace. Remember, as I said before the game, they haven't won a game this season so far in their first 4 games. 2 draws, 2 defeats, but unbeaten in their last 4 in all competitions. They lost their first 2 in the league. And the last 4 games, as I said, they've drawn 2 and won 2. Both cup games they've won. So haven't won a league game so far. Here's Kamada. Trying to find Eze. Does well to find Eze. Now off to Ismail Assar, who chops back. Crosses it for Eze, who hits it wide. What a chance for Crystal Palace. Ebere Eze screams at the sky. But Eze, lovely link up with Sar. Sar chops back, leaves 2 United players for dead, and squares it across for Eze, who tries to sweep it with his right to the bottom corner. And it just goes wide. What an opportunity. And Crystal Palace haven't created much, but when they've come forward, when they have got into the box, they have given up some chances. Goodness me. Are neither team able to score this evening? Mainu somehow it comes out to Mazraoui now, to Ahmad, back to Mazraoui. And Mainu over the top. Ahmad made the run. Has to go wide, but linking up, trying to get past his defence. And Richards ultimately had the last touch. Will be a Manchester United corner. Their 11th corner of the game. On this right hand side, Ericsson to take. Lots of threat in there from Manchester United's point of view. Can anyone get a clean connection on it? Ericsson delivers. It's deep, but it is right into the hands of Dean Henderson, the Crystal Palace goalkeeper. Throws it out to Mitchell. Out wide it goes to Eze. Down the flank, has to come back in field. And goes back to Gurhey. Gurhey tries to go over the top. Trying to find Munoz, who'd made the run forward, but Dallow defended him well, and now finds Garnacho. And he has him beaten off the ball, does Munoz, winning it back. Hughes skids it round for Eza. Back to Hughes. Now the ball spun out by Lerma. Out to Mitchell, who takes a wonderful touch in field. Linking up with Sarr. Eza. Down the line to Mitchell. Mitchell looking for the cross. And De Ligt with an unorthodox attempt at a clearance. Ended up into the hands of his goalkeeper. And now into Andre Onana. Goodness me. To say, Crystal Palace, I don't want to say that they've looked more threatening, but certainly had one or two more chances in these last few minutes. Dallow. Mazraoui to Ahmad, and Mazraoui was just fouled there by Hughes as he played the pass. So free kick to United with 15 minutes to go. Man United are going to make a double substitution. Manuel Ugarte is coming on. He's going to replace Christian Eriksen. And Rasmus Højlund is coming on after being injured for the vast majority of this season so far. And he's going to be replacing Ahmad. So Ahmad and Christian Eriksen off. And Manuel Ugarte and Rasmus Højlund on for United. So some fresh legs to try and get a bit more out of this game. At least get a goal for Manchester United. At 0-0, the game still hangs in the balance. Højlund with his first appearance of the season. Of course, has a new number now. He does Højlund, the number 9. Anthony Martial, after leaving the club in the summer. Højlund inherited that, and they're hoping that he will become their star number 9. Maybe that's what's been missing from United today, that out-and-out striker on the field. Something they've had a bit of trouble with so far, as I said. Considering if they failed to score today, they will have scored an average 1 goal per game this season. 5 games, 5 goals. So maybe that has been the missing factor for United so far this season. Here's Garnacho down the right hand side. Tries to get past Richards, who gets back at him really well. And now Mitchell tries to clear. Was a bit rushed there by I think that was Mainu, it was. And he'll take the throw in now, Kobe Mainu. Fernandez back to Mainu. Fernandez again, but Palace surrounding the Man United players with bodies. Lerma has it now. Richards chipped out to Sarr, plays it infield to Eza. It's good movement from Palace again, as I think Kamara was taken out there by Martinez again. They might have a personal vendetta against Kamara. It's about 3 or 4 times he's committed a foul against Kamara, has Martinez. Ultimately, Palace can't keep the ball, but Kamara tries to battle back. Ultimately, can't find a teammate as Ugarte plays it to Dallow. Now Rashford. Down the left-hand side trying to find Højlund, but just a bit wayward that pass. Goal kick to Crystal Palace. Don't forget, with around 12 minutes to go, 2 more games for you tomorrow. Brighton take on Nottingham Forest from 2 o'clock from the Amex, before the big one, Manchester City against Arsenal. 4:30 kickoff tomorrow. Last season's top 2 face off at the Etihad at 4:30. Munoz and Rashford there going for the header. Rashford had the last touch, so Palace will get the throw. Richards. Gurhey. Hooked up the right-hand side. That's a good run by Munoz. And Palace have bodies forward. Munoz with a cross. Just a bit too high. Hughes will keep it alive. Hughes across. And straight at Onana, who gathers for United. But again, good movement by Palace. And just lacking that final pass. Just over 10 minutes to go. And Palace have had 5 of the last 6 shots in the game. So they're certainly trying to apply a bit more pressure. Onana to Martinez. Down the line by Dallo, but has to come back with Martinez. Fernandez trying to lift it over the top, but again, too much on that one. And Henderson will get it down for Palace. Palace now go long over the top. Sarr's made a little run here. Up against Dallo, but the flag goes up against Ismaila Sarr. He couldn't hold his run for long enough. Well, they did the double over Man United last season, Crystal Palace. First time ever that they've beaten Man United in consecutive league matches. They won none of their first 20 Premier League meetings with United, 4 draws and 16 defeats, but they've now won 5 of the last 10 against them in this division, 2 draws and 3 defeats in those last 10 meetings. And as I said, United have lost 2 of their last 3 away league games against Palace and drew the other one, and having been unbeaten in their previous 13 such visits to Selhurst Park. Ismaila Sarr trying to get Palace out with less than 10 minutes to go now. Through into Crystal Palace on the right hand side. As Ismaila Sarr's brought down there from the throw. Will be a free kick to Palace. Manuel Ugarte giving away the free kick. McBride still trying to help their side along here at Selhurst Park. That Holt end bouncing. A few topless in there. Fair play to them. Free kick taken by Palace. Right hand side. The header up in the air. Still not away. It was Lacroix that got the header. And then a wasted free kick given away by Will Hughes. Gets him a yellow card. And a Man United a free kick. It was Ugarte. Just absolutely blocked. Clattering into Manuel Ugarte, no questions about that one. Will Hughes sees yellow for that one. Martinez. It's all the way back to Onana. Is there going to be a late winner? Or some late drama here at Selhurst Park? Well, Crystal Palace scored a 91st minute equaliser against United to rescue a point here a few seasons ago in Game 7 of the season. Michael Olise with a 91st minute free kick winner into the top corner. It was an absolute peach of an effort that rescued a point for Palace on that day. Palace scored the only goal at Old Trafford last season in a 1-0 win. Joachim Anderson with the goal. This would be a third successive clean sheet against Manchester United for Crystal Palace, which would be uncharted territory, really. Having never done so previously. These games have always been tight, as of recently anyway, in the Premier League, as I mentioned, draws and 1-0 wins. Of course, the 4-0 win, the outlier for Crystal Palace last season, but there's never usually much to separate these two in the grand scheme of things as of recent seasons. Even when either side win, it's very rare that they would win by more than one goal. And this trend seemingly continuing if there is to be a winner with 5 minutes or so to go. Lacroix does really well. Finds Sarr. Now Kamada has to turn back to Gerhi, but keeps the possession to Palace. And Gerhi tries to chip it down the right hand side. Here is Ismaila Sarr. Back to Munoz. Now Sarr again. Bodies arriving in the box for Palace. Cut back to Lacroix. Lacroix with a cross. Headed away by Mazraoui. Mitchell tries to keep it forward, and I think Awarte and Eza got involved in with each other there, but Palace again retrieved the ball. Are Palace going to end the second half as they did the end the first, with a bit of a flurry of chances? Henderson knocks forward, but that one goes straight to his opposite, Andre Onana, in the United goal. Martinez try and eke Man United up the field and get them forward. Try and push for that winner. Uarte. Wide to Mazraoui. Back to Dulicht. To Martinez. Menu. Dallo to Uarte again. Dulicht. Martinez. Dulicht trying to fizz it over the top for Rashford to chase, but again into the hands of Dean Henderson comes the ball, and at the minute Palace just dealing with everything that Man United have thrown at them today. So far, anyway. It's Hughes in a tussle with Uarte. Mitchell nips it away, and now Will Hughes comes away with the ball. Trying to keep it alive as Sarr gets a little bounce, but ultimately Mazraoui and Dulicht there get in the way, and comes back to Onana. Martinez to Dulicht. 3 minutes to go, plus additional time. 0-0 at Selhurst Park. Uarte. Down the right-hand side of Mazraoui. He gets it back from Fernandez. Now back to Dulicht. As Martinez tries to feed it in for Højlund, and Højlund across, but hooked away by Gerhi. The Palace captain. Hooking that one clear of danger. Mazraoui. Now Fernandez. Ugarte. Now Martinez. Just a bit laboured at the minute from Man United. They're trying to break Palace down. Mazraoui. Need a bit of urgency at the minute. Here's Fernandez. Looking to cross it. And Gerhi got in the way of Højlund there and hooks it away again as Mazraoui brings it down. That's good play. Good pressure. Dulicht. To Martinez again. Is there going to be a late winner here at Selhurst Park? Or will neither defence be breached this evening? Martinez in his own half. Palace are just comfortable sitting in their shape at the minute. Mazraoui tries to break away, gets past Eza, into a bit of space, past Mitchell and Hughes, now finds Hoyland, tries to flick it on, but Munoz there to clear it away for Palace. A bit desperate that from Munoz, and didn't really need to be, but didn't know what was behind him and just got it away from danger. Uarti, last minute of the 90. Mazraoui trying to find Hoyland. Hoyland ruffles for it, and ultimately the header is cleared away by Munoz. But again, it's Man United getting the ball back and trying to again threaten Palace. Rashford finds Mainu. Back to Rashford, wide on the left. Again tries to find it into the middle, but Gerhi there again to intercept and to try and get Palace up the field. And the ball will bounce off Rashford, and Gerhi will see it out for a goal kick. Really good defending by Mark Gerhi. And Palace, I think, are going to make another change in a minute. Whether that's time wasting or genuine, we'll find out. Would err on the side of maybe a bit of running down the clock from Palace's point of view, although I think Oliver Glasner's giving a convincing performance of trying to get tactical information on, and so it is going to be a Berrieza who's going to make way. Palace's most threatening player, their most promising player at the minute, most threatening player. And Berrieza's had a number of chances, but hasn't been able to find the net today for Palace. With the limited amount of attacking displays they've had, he's been their most threatening. And Berrieza's night comes to an end with nothing to really show in terms of goals or assists. And Jeffrey Schlupp is going to come on in his place. And Eza just having a little chat with his head coach, Oliver Glasner, there as he comes off. Looks to be all smiles. Sneaky little smiles, but smiles nonetheless between the two. With just over 3 minutes to go. 4 added minutes, as I mentioned, so 3 of those still to go. At Selhurst Park. Mazraoui and Garnacho. Back to De Ligt. Now Martinez. In between the lines, but again cleared away. And here's Schlupp in a bit of space here for Palace. He's got 4 United players back, but he holds on to find it to Mitchell. Mitchell looking for the cross, and Schlupp chests it down, but it takes him away from him, and Mazraoui can clear. But Richards gets it wide to Mitchell again. Fernandez in the area, but Mitchell cuts it back to Schlupp. Schlupp gets into the box, cuts it back, and the flick on has just gone wide from Ismaila Sarr. But that's got Palace going. Wonderful for Palace. Down this side, how Schlupp finds a way through, and then the cut across. Sarr does get a touch. It might be off Martinez. It goes behind for the corner, but what a moment for Crystal Palace again. And with 2 minutes to go, it's Palace that are trying to push for that late winner. What a headline that would be if it was to happen. Let's see what they can do from this corner. Their 4th of the game. On this left-hand side, 5 of them queuing up in the middle. Palace with a delivery all the way through, and Garnacho hooks it clear. As Mitchell's under a bit of pressure here from Rashford. And ultimately the game is just going to be stopped here as Martinez is down in his own box, so that might cause a bit of a delay to the game, as he's in a bit of pain here with 90 seconds to go, but I'm sure the referee will add any stoppage onto the end of the 4 minutes. I don't think Martinez is going to be well liked inside this stadium, as Palace fans feel he's just doing a bit of time wasting. I'll have to say, Dean Henderson's just got player of the match. I would have to say, you probably couldn't argue with that. Made some huge saves for Crystal Palace today. 7 in total. Incredible. He's prevented an XG of 1.65. Incredible. Garnacho. Back to Fernandez. But the game's not done yet. Still time for a winner to be found. Mazraoui will take the throw in to De Ligt. And now Martinez. Looking for options. Has to go back to De Ligt. United need to get the ball forward with time running out. Fernandez to De Ligt. Now across to Martinez again. Rashford looks to hook it over the top to try and find Mainu, who'd made the run beyond, but Palace again deal with that situation, and Hughes tries to get Palace forward, but United deal with that situation as Lacroix comes crashing in on Rashford. United get a free kick, and Lacroix gets a yellow card. Maxence Lacroix. What a name, by the way. I said that earlier on, but it's such a name. Maxence Lacroix. So 4 minutes are up, but we'll see that this might be the last opportunity of the game to win it. Fernandez to take this free kick for United. This could be the last chance of the game for either team. Fernandez, right-footed, free kick, into the box it comes. Lacroix to head it clear. And that is the final whistle. Ultimately, a 0-0 draw that sees it out. Palace ultimately struggling up front, but their goalkeeper Dean Henderson, their defence, their back five in Munoz, Lacroix, Gurhey, Richards and Mitchell all get Crystal Palace a point that they worked ever so hard for. Onana had some saves himself to make it the other end, but Manchester United, on a day where they were the better side, where they dominated Crystal Palace, where they probably should have had 2 or 3 goals, they end up coming away with a draw and just a point to show for their performance. Final score from Selhurst Park: Crystal Palace 0, Manchester United 0. And that is the end of the game and the end of the day, shall we say, from the Premier League this afternoon. Chelsea winning away at West Ham earlier this afternoon. Home wins for Aston Villa and Fulham. Everton again scoppering the chance to get 3 points away at Leicester. Liverpool bouncing back from defeat to get back-to-back wins in the Champions League and the Premier League. Southampton and Ipswich both failing to win at St Mary's. Tottenham coming from behind to beat Brentford 3-1. And a 0-0 draw between Crystal Palace and Manchester United. Join us tomorrow for another double-header of commentaries as Brighton take on Nottingham Forest, followed by Manchester City taking on Arsenal. That's tomorrow. For now, thanks for your company. Bye-bye.